Google takes on SpaceX Starlink. Let's go check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning and focus combination. So good, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about Google. And actually not just Google. Google is like joining forces, I would say, with Vodafone and AT&T to go against SpaceX Starlink. They're trying to use another company or invest in another company to directly go against SpaceX Starlink. And that company is AST SpaceMobile. So I was reading some articles. I was reading one over on PC Magazine, one on cord cutters, another one here, there, and elsewhere. Anyways, I want to read some of these articles to you and then give you my commentary on it. What do I think is going to end up happening with this? And more importantly, I want to know what you think is going to happen. Do you think all of the millions of dollars is going to help? Are they going to be able to be competitive with SpaceX Starlink? Are we going to see competition finally? Well, we're going to get into that today. But before we do, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. They're free. Go to JCristina.com/books. Also, if you're looking for a VPN, check out PureVPN. The nice folks over there gave us a promo code, which is JCristina. You could also use JCristina.com/VPN to get 15 additional % off at checkout. If you enjoy this content, even Elise, as I always say, throw it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful. If you are subscribed, thank you. If you're not, consider doing so. And then click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a little thank you button. Click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more Starlink content after watching this video, click over here. I put together a playlist just for you with about 240 videos, helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to buy, what not to buy, and most importantly, the why behind it all. Now that all the housekeeping is done, let's jump right into the articles. The first one is from Cord Cutters, and it says, Google is joining the space race. The tech giant has thrown its financial support behind Starlink competitor AST SpaceMobile to help the company with product development, testing, and implementation. Google is the latest big tech player drawn into delivering space-based internet and phone service. SpaceX Starlink is working with T-Mobile on tests to make calls from space, while Amazon has launched test satellites to trial its service. Project Kuiper, expected to launch next year. Ain't gonna happen. Google has been relatively quiet while other companies are diving into the possibility of global connectivity through low Earth orbiting satellites. In a time when fast and reliable internet access is essential for everyday life, eliminating dead zones would be a game changer in the digital age. Hence the whole term of bridging the digital divide, bringing the have-nots to the haves. Basically, the have-nots of high-speed internet access to the haves that do have that high-speed internet access. Bridging that divide, very, very important. The company may be laying the groundwork for future plans when it releases Android 14. The operating software, which was released last year, has satellite connectivity support. So far, the functionality has not been available. Google's backing of AST SpaceMobile could mean that it will soon change. In the funding round, Google joined AT&T and Vodafone in investing $206 million in credit and revenue commitments to AST SpaceMobile. Google and AST SpaceMobile said that they had agreed to work on product development and testing for network connectivity on Android and related devices. Google has previously shown interest in providing connectivity to more people, even investing in projects like the failed balloon-based internet venture Loom. I thought that was the best one, right? Balloons carrying, anyways, yeah, balloon internet. Anyways, going on to the next article from PC Magazine, they did a little brief explanation of what's going on also. They said the first batch of commercial satellites from AST SpaceMobile, a potential competitor of SpaceX's Starlink system, may not launch in Q1 as originally planned. Now, this is a problem, and I'll get into that in just a second. Instead, the company indicated it needs more time to address several factors, including testing, assembling, and regulatory approvals. Quote, based on the current estimate, we believe the launch will occur in the second quarter of 2024. AST SpaceMobile is currently testing and assembling 5 Bluebird satellites, or what represents the company's first block of satellites to power the space-based cellular network. Last year, AST SpaceMobile demonstrated that the technology works by using a prototype satellite called Blue Walker 3 to beam down rates as high as 14 megabits per second to unmodified phones on the ground in September of last year. To send up the Bluebird satellites, the company signed a deal in 2022 with SpaceX to act as the launch provider. Interesting, right? I'll get into more of that in just a second. AST SpaceMobile added, quote, we have the flexibility under the launch service agreement to reschedule the date of this dedicated launch, subject to launch vehicle providers' launch schedule availability. The company spokesperson went on to say, quote, the exact timing of the launch is contingent upon a number of factors, including satisfactory and timely completion of assembly, integrating and testing of the satellites, logistics, weather conditions, regulatory approval, and other factors, many of which are beyond our control. Of course, they're beyond your control. AST SpaceMobile provided PC Magazine with an update after the CEO published a letter to shareholders that said that the company expects to receive up to $306.5 million in funding through investors, including Google, AT&T, and Vodafone, to help it build out its satellite network. Quote, with our first 5 commercial satellites fully funded, last year we turned our attention to building the launching of the next generation Bluebirds, which are designed for a 10x improvement in throughput. That's great. Now you just got to get them into space. Anyways, many companies have been coming forward trying to compete with SpaceX Starlink, and they're just simply failing. They are just not able to do it. I wish they would. Competition is just absolutely mandatory in every single sector. It helps the end user. It helps the customer 110%. Now, I was looking at this and I said, you know, AT&T, Vodafone, Google, they all believe in this AST SpaceMobile to be able to complete this, to be able to do it. And they're throwing millions, hundreds of millions of dollars at this company. Now, are they going to be able to do it? I don't know. But if they're anything like HughesNet or EchoStar with their whole Jupiter 3 that I told you guys, yes, they have the Jupiter 3 up there right now. And the HughesNet customers are like, oh, well, we got faster speeds now. Yeah, but what's your latency? That's the biggest issue. Where Elon Musk is trying to get the latency, the milliseconds or your ping, down below 20 milliseconds, right? So you can do video calls, you can do gaming, all this kind of stuff that you need really fast or fast latency in general, right? Low jitter also. I did a whole video on jitter. Look that up. Maybe over here. Anyways, the bottom line is even though Jupiter 3 is up there providing faster speeds, the problem is latency, and they will never be able to fix that. Why? Because it just simply cannot happen because they're too far in space. They're sitting at about 36,000 kilometers, where SpaceX Starlink is in LEO, which is low Earth orbit at 550 kilometers. 550 kilometers compared to 36,000 kilometers. A massive difference. That can't be fixed. So while SpaceX Starlink will be getting below 20 milliseconds latency, Jupiter 3, even though it's fast, is still going to be sitting at like 6, 7, 800, 1,000 milliseconds of latency. They can't fix that. There's nothing that they can do to make it any faster. That's just it. It's just time to travel. How long it takes for a signal, RF, radio frequency, to go 36,000 kilometers. That's just it. Look at Bezos and his Project Kuiper. What a joke is that? After the like 2 or 3 years of playing with this thing, Jeff Bezos' Project Kuiper was able to get 2 satellites into orbit. That's over 2 or 3 years. 2 satellites. Are they working? Yeah. But does it matter? No. The bottom line is to get those 2 satellites, it took forever. Why? His own company, Blue Origin, couldn't do it. ULA couldn't do it. Arianespace couldn't do it. He contracted with all of them. There was delays and delays and delays. And finally, ULA last year got 2 prototypes into orbit. Jeff Bezos says that Project Kuiper is going to be online in 2024, servicing customers, and it's just not going to happen. He might service 100 people. That's going to be about it, if that. So anyways, a lot of the companies have been trying to do it, but they just simply can't. At least AST SpaceMobile was smart and said, you know what? We are going to contract with SpaceX because once we do get this shit right, we're going to be able to launch those satellites up into orbit at a reasonable cadence in comparison to one every 2 years, like what happened with Project Kuiper. Right? We need to be able to turn this stuff around quickly. Just like we saw with SpaceX Starlink just yesterday, a day before, they had a launch on the West Coast, a launch on the East Coast. They all went up, 50 some satellites or something. It was a bunch. This extremely fast cadence or turnaround is what they all need, but no one can provide it besides SpaceX. I think SpaceX is currently launching about 6 rockets per week on average. 6 rockets per week. The only other company or country close is the CCP, China, with 4 launches per week. That's a lot. No one else could even come close. Not even close. Forget about per week. They like it per month. So it is good to see that AST SpaceMobile contracted with SpaceX. It just simply makes sense in comparison to what Jeff Bezos did with his Project Kuiper. Matter of fact, that's why he was being sued, because a lot of the investors were like, hey, use SpaceX. What are you doing? We want to make some of our money back, right? But no, he can't do that because he's got a massive chip on his shoulder. He won't say, Elon, listen, we need a ride share. We need an Uber into space, right? Can you launch some of our satellites? He just simply won't do it. So he'll keep on struggling, and that's fine. And that's why he'll fail. So anyways, the bottom line here is we see Google, AT&T, and Vodafone investing over $300 million into AST SpaceMobile. Will it help? Will that funding be able to produce a competitor to SpaceX Starlink? What do you think? I personally don't think it will, but that's my opinion. I want to know yours. Down below, let's have this discussion. Anyways, guys, thank you for being here. Before you leave, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the very many years. Hopefully there's something there that you might like. Check out my merch, check out my tees, pick something up, support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.